Welcome to the Media Box, here to take stock of this week's PACE session. PACE President Tiny Kox, thanks for joining us. What stood out for you this time round? I'm guessing the main message is maybe that call for a ban on Russian and Belarusian athletes at next year's Olympics.
The vast majority of our delegates said, under these conditions, athletes from both Russia and Belarus should not participate in these games because their countries are involved in a war of aggression against our member state, Ukraine. That's a blatant violation of international law. So this is the consequence, one of the consequences of the war that should never have started and should end as soon as possible. But it's fair to say to the governments that they are responsible. They could end the war and then avoid a ban. We should not put the burden on athletes. Athletes should try to jump faster and run harder. But it's not their obligation to take decisions with regards to the war. It's their government. So I'm happy that in the end, an overwhelming majority said that our advice to the International Olympic Committee would be do not allow these athletes there. We do not blame the athletes, we blame their governments.
And the Assembly this week also looked at the issue of the Lachin corridor.
As everybody recognizes that Nagorno-Karabakh is in the territory of the state of Azerbaijan, with a large Armenian population in that enclave, but that does not create the right for the Azerbaijani government to do whatever it wants with these citizens of their state. And the blocking of the Lachin corridor could lead to an enormous disaster of the thousands and thousands of people who are living there and depend on this corridor between their enclave and Armenia. The corridor is closed, and that is a violation of obligations by Azerbaijan. So the Assembly calls strongly on Azerbaijan to meet its obligations, reopen the corridor immediately so that relief can be given to the citizens of Nagorno-Karabakh, citizens on the territory of Azerbaijan.
This session came after the Reykjavik summit, which was about reinforcing the Council of Europe, about holding Russia to account over its aggression against Ukraine. What are the next steps?
A register of damage has been created, in which immediately, at this moment already almost all member states of the Council of Europe, but also the G7 participate. That means that people can register that damage in order to prepare for a system of compensation, so that damage will be compensated. At the end of the day, the bill has to be sent to the Kremlin, because if you start a war, you create damage and you are responsible for restoring that damage. Meanwhile, we keep pressing on the need to have an ad hoc international tribunal to deal with the crime of aggression. That means that the President, the Parliament and the government of Russia will be held accountable. We are working, and also this week, that we support those who oppose the war of aggression both in Russia and in Belarus.
Tiny Kox, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.